Friendship is so funny because I feel like it's seasons of friendship, and I think it's important that we value those seasons because those seasons have led us to being where we are. But in terms of friendship, I am not friends with any of the people I were friends with in middle or high school. And mostly that's because I moved around. I moved twice, and so that's why I wasn't able to really invest fully in the relationship or for that relationship to really blossom. And so that's why that's why I'm not friends with anybody in middle school or high school that I was in middle school or high school with. But in terms of friendship, what to look for, I can give you 3 things that's really good to look for. Honesty is one. If they can be honest with you, that is amazing. Like as small as them telling you something's in your teeth. That's a true friend that can tell you something's in your teeth and won't have you walking around like, why you didn't tell me I had spinach in my teeth? So honesty is really great, and not just them being honest with you. Can you be honest with them? Can they receive your honesty in a way that is positive, right, and of love? So that's one thing, honesty. Also, I would say for a friend, make sure that your friend brings to you things that you don't have. So for example, I'm pretty reserved for the most part, but I always have friends that are more talkative, that are more outgoing, and that's because they have something I don't have and I attract to that. And so having friends that have what you don't have or who can give to you things and help you to grow basically is really, really a great thing. So we are going to be attracted to friends who are like us to a certain point and to a certain extent. But if you can find a friend who has something to offer you as far as like knowledge or experiences or anything, that's a really dope friendship. And then last but not least, being able to have friends that reciprocate the love and positivity you show them. So if you're showing your friends love and positivity and they're showing that back to you, then great, right? If they're not, then maybe that's a friendship to question. But I would say those are my 3 tips for friendships.
The characteristics of a true friend is someone that always holds me accountable. It's someone that listens to me, that I can confide in. And once I confide in them, then they can also help me in the times when maybe I'm not as confident about myself. Maybe I have forgotten some of the things that I've done. So in a case where maybe I'm not feeling as confident, they can remind me of the things that I did before. They can say, hey man, like, this is no problem. You've been through struggles like this before. Remember the time when you had this going on and when you did this and you still were able to survive through that and be successful? So I see that as a key characteristic of a friend. Also, a friend is someone I can always count on to be there to support me in my times of success and also in my times of failure. So they're consistent. The other one I would say, or other characteristics of a friend I would say, is that they also confide in me. So they also share about them. They allow me to get invested in their life and the things that are going on with them. So now I can also be their accountability partner. I can be their supporting partner. I can be their confidence building partner as much as possible.
Are you friends with anybody from high school or middle school and stuff like that?
Okay, so talking about true friends. A true friend, I believe, is somebody that wants the best for you, that listens to what you say without judgment, and that, like, only gives advice if you ask for, and they don't tell you, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, that you're stupid, that you're that. Like, they don't judge you. Like, they understand that nobody's perfect. A true friend supports, and support, like, far as me, like, I am an entrepreneur, so support doesn't necessarily mean like spending money, but they tell people about maybe something that you're doing, or they promote you, or just spread the word. Word of mouth is very, very, very strong. So I just think a true friend is just somebody that loves you unconditionally. They don't judge, and they're always there for you.
Anybody from school, like high school and everything still?
My bestest friend, her name is Kayla. I've been friends with her since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
We met in Daisy Scouts.
Oh, wow.
And we went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and college together. She's actually my line sister too.
Wow.
I know.
So what makes your relationship, because it's easy, especially being friends with someone at 3, It's like you were like pulled into a friendship versus choosing her, kind of, you know? And when we become adults, we need different things. So what has gave your friendship like longevity? Like how did you know she's a true friend?
I knew Kayla was a true friend when, I mean, we've been through so much. Like, so I'm gonna sum it all up rather than, you know, pour my guts out. Because she'll probably watch this. That's how much of a true friend she is. So we've made sacrifices for each other. When she didn't hesitate to like come to like my aid, and vice versa. And like even now we don't talk every day, but like I can call her and be talking about something somebody did, and she'll pick up right where we left off. And you know, and then vice versa. And then we'll send each other like little texts like, you're still my bestest, I love you, you know, I haven't talked to you, but like let's make it better. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna make it better. So somebody to include me into their life consistently, and to somebody that I don't have to hesitate to call, and vice versa, and I don't ever have to question her loyalty. And I think vice versa, yeah. There's a lot of people I was like, ain't no way.
Talk about that, because a lot of girls when we're younger, we have our little crew, but it can get toxic. It's like frenemies. Like, let's talk about being a true friend, what it looks like, who you should have surrounded, who you should be surrounded by, you know, to succeed. And
true friends. I had a nice little crew. We still are a crew in a sense, but we are all over. But we still keep in touch. There's only one friend that I did fall out with, and it's basically because I wasn't a good friend. It was more so like I was fake. I was phony, in a sense. But it was more so like it was envy because of the attention that she was getting based off of her body and all that stuff. Like, she was getting attention from boys and girls and all that stuff like that. And I felt like she lived in this big old house, and I loved her. I did. And like, we've been friends since we were 3. So like, I loved you dearly, and I still do love her, but I didn't treat her right. Like, when she would, like, you know, like, have sex with certain people or do certain things, like, I would be sitting there, you know, like, talking about her and stuff like that, but then still be being her friend, which I realized was really nasty about me. And, like, I do want to eventually hold a conversation with her when the time is right, like, to apologize for any of, like, misusing her friendship, because she was a good friend to me. She was never a bad friend to me. Now we both have children, and we're grown and things like that. But back then, I wish that I had known myself enough to know that was like she could still be my friend and be doing all of this stuff. And like, influences also plays a part. Like, if your friend, that one friend that has sex before all of them, that's, you don't have to, right? Like, all because she felt it and she said it felt good, or whatever the case may be is, and y'all and her and the boyfriend so in love, or whatever the case may be, like, that don't mean that you have to do it also. Stay in your lane. You can stay in your lane and still have supportive friends. I have a friend, KK. She's out in North Carolina. She's about to get her doctorate. We grew up in the church together. I got Franny. She's still in the church, and she does everything, and we still see each other. We still talk to each other. We still keep in some form of contact. But it's not no bad blood between us because we don't see each other. Those friends that say, oh, you don't call me no more, you don't do all this, that, and third anymore, that's not a regulation or a standard for a friendship. Like, you do not have to talk every day. You don't have to text every day. They don't have to answer you right away. These are things that you need to realize, is that people are in their own lane. If they're in the same lane as you, it's the issue at the end of the day, because like, you should be able to, like, like how they do, like, in traffic, like, just merge and then merge back out. Like, it's about connecting when need be, and being on your stuff when you need to be, which should be all the time. You should just stay in your lane and realize that your friends should respect your decisions, even though they might not fully support certain things that you do. But as long as they respect where you are and they love you and they show love in the best way that they know how. Like, because all of your friends didn't buy all of your products, or they didn't come to this, that, and the third, like, doesn't mean that they don't love you. Like, your friend calling you just saying, hey girl, what's up? Like, that's their form of love. Or you have that other friend that,
wants to go out all the time. Like, that's their form of love. They like to be around you. But those friends that put you down and talk nasty about you, those are not your true friends. The ones that don't have your back when you need it the most, the ones that when you come and talk to them about your problems with your mom, and they just automatically say, oh no girl, I don't have them problems with my mom. Oh no, I don't do that, besides just listening to you and trying to help you figure certain things out. Like, those are the friends that you need. You need the people that are in your corner, no matter what is going on in their life. Like, I'm not saying that they have to stop everything and tend to you, but they have to also be realizing that a friendship is a relationship at the end of the day. And you have to honor and respect the relationship that you have with people while you have it.
And popularity isn't everything. I'm going to tell you that right now. Like, being popular is not everything. I was not popular in high school or middle school, even though, and I didn't want to be. Like, I was like, I'm good where I'm at. I had my friends and we were good. And so popularity isn't everything. And popularity is something that's going to change depending on the season. So even though you might feel like, oh, I'm not popular now, like, just because you're not popular as a freshman does not mean you're not going to be popular as a senior, right? Like, it doesn't mean just because you were popular as a senior, right, in high school does not mean you're going to be popular in college. So popularity changes. So I wouldn't even be trying to chase that, because it's going to switch up depending on the season that you're in. So in terms of peer pressure, when I was a teen, definitely peer pressure is real. Like, that is definitely real peer pressure. For me, I can't remember any specific moments where it was like this grand moment where I was peer pressure into doing something. But I will say, for peer pressure, the advice that I would give myself and to anyone watching is, think about who you want to be. Think about the person you want to be. Like, outside of the peer pressure, right? You might have people in your ear chiming in, like, do this and we need to do this. But think about, is that who I want to be? Is that really what I want? Or am I just taking what this person is telling me because I want to be friends with them, or because I want them to respect me or to hang out with me, right? Like, think about who you really want to be, because at the end of the day, you're going to be with yourself. You're not going to be with that friend. And if you can't, and you want to feel good with you want to feel good about the things you have done in your day, the things that you have done in your life. And so I would just say, really, really make sure and check in with yourself to make sure that you are doing what feels good to you, and silencing all the noise. And I know that can be hard right now when you're young, but you can do it. Like, you have the power, and I want you to really hear me on this. Like, you have the power to change, and like to even change others' opinions. You have the power to be a leader. And so peer pressure is really just following. You have the power to actually lead, and that leading can be in a positive way. So just know that it's okay. Like, don't worry about someone being your friend. You want friends that actually are doing positive things. If your friend isn't doing a positive thing, then maybe you should be friends with them. Or maybe you should just not only just be friends with them, right? Maybe you want to be friends with that person. Maybe you can start leading them the right way.
Identify people who, I get it. Everybody want to be in the inner circle. Girl, when I tell you the inner circle, the people that used to be in the inner circle, when I just find them or like see them on Facebook or Instagram, like, he does not lie. Folks come out real basic when they focus on the wrong things. So if you're not in the inner circle, don't trip, because I was in the inner circle and I'm thriving. If you are in the inner circle, more power to you. But stay focused. And don't be trying to use your inner circle-ness as a leverage to come for other girls and boys or people. Don't try to do that, because that's messy. And all you're going to do is end up like transposing whatever you got going on somebody else, and then we got cycles and cycles and cycles. We talked about like self-love, right? Strive for it. I don't know if it's a realistic expectation for me to say, you know what, you're gonna love yourself fully at 16 right now. You don't even know yourself fully at 16 right now. Love how you know how to love, right? Don't assign or ascribe like value to yourself
based on things that are fickle, right? Fickle, clothes, resources, like hair is important to me, don't get me wrong. Trust, when you get 30, you can do all you want with your hair. You don't have the resources to do it if you stay focused. I promise you, if I show you a Facebook picture of me from back in the day to now, you probably be like, what? I would not sit with her in the cafeteria. That's why you need to go sit with me in the cafeteria. It's like facts. Like, so like all of the things that you kind of want to focus on now but may not be able to because you don't have the resources, if you focus on the right thing, self-love, education, being kind to people, right? If you focus on those things, I swear, gains are coming 10 years from now, which sounds far, but it's not. Like, what? I'm 30. Bizarre. And don't be afraid or don't feel bad that you love yourself. Like, don't let people tell you that whole like selfish thing. Like, I think there's levels to like loving. Like, I don't know if you can be selfish at 16. You don't need to, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be selfish at 16. You only exist for yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. I do recognize that there are situations, right? And that's not my experience where just by nature of like whatever dynamic you might be in, you may be charged with like, because you're an older sister, you need to care for someone, you know, younger than you. That's going to be tough. The reality is that's going to be tough because your brain has not developed and you certainly don't deserve that. I'm just going to be honest. Like, you don't deserve at 16 to have to take care of another child. You didn't ask to be in this world. So if you feel a kind of way, know that it's okay to feel the kind of way. Know though that I don't believe that, like, when we go back to that thorn, like that sort of that thorn, right? There is something greater. I do believe, right, that there's something greater. Like, I don't think that you're in this situation just cause, right? I don't think you deserve, right? I don't think that, like I said with that scripture in the Bible, God wasn't saying you got that thorn because you deserve it. You got that thorn because you had what was coming for you, or you got this thorn on your side because that's what you get. Nah, you got this thorn because you're about to experience some real powerful stuff. I don't know how and when, but you're about to experience it. So find peace in that if you can, to the extent that you can.
So this is a good one. Being a leader versus all the peer pressure that comes with life, right? And the thing about peer pressure is that it never stops. It never stops. So it's not just something that happens in school. If you go to college, you go to some job, or even in your own relationships, seeing your friends and what they're doing versus what you're doing. The peer pressure will continue for the rest of your life, honestly. And I would say, the thing that I usually tell my kids is that you have to be honest about who you are and true to yourself always. Whenever you're not true to yourself is when all the problems happen. That's when it's easy to follow other people because you really don't know who you are and what you stand for. But once you're strong on that, I think that helps you greatly. The other thing is that you also have to be strong enough to take the fact that some of the friends that you may have may stop being your friend because of some decision that you decide to do. So something that they're going to go do that you say, no, I'm not interested in doing that. That is a tremendously brave thing to do. It costs because it will actually cost you, potentially a friendship or other friends or maybe an opportunity to go do something. But to be brave, to be strong, and to be a leader are key things that will live with you for the rest of your life because peer pressure will never stop. No matter what, you'll always be in a situation where people are doing one thing and you have to make a decision whether you're going to do it or not. So I would say, again, just be true to yourself. Take the time to learn the things that you're for, what you stand for, the things that you don't believe in, and what you stand against. And as long as you keep doing that, those will be the things, the foundation that you can stand on when it comes to dealing with any of the peer pressure that may come in however age or however walk of life that you're in.
As a teenager, let's see. So I feel like media was it big when we were coming up? I don't feel like it's as big as it is now. Because I would say now the media decides a lot of what's popular.
Yeah.
Like you need this and you need that, and you need that.
Yeah.
In Baltimore, like you have way more people than I ever had in my hometown. My hometown was small. So like most of everybody knew everybody. The dynamics were different. But if I were growing up in a bigger city, if I were like LA, Baltimore's like a mid-sized city, even Baltimore, New York, whatever, the media would have great influence. So I feel it's important to know yourself and coming into your journey with being okay with yourself, because it's forever changing. There's always something. Even as an adult, I can't keep up. Like 1 minute y'all like big butts, the next minute y'all like, got thigh slimmers or whatever, like I can't keep up. So it's always gonna be something. That's one thing about the world. It is forever changing. So styles are ever changing, fashions are ever changing, people are ever changing. So being comfortable with it yourself and being able to identify your flaws as beautiful. There are so many. Back when I was growing up, oh my gosh, I'm that person now. Back when I'm growing up.
I say that all the time now.
I know.
I'm like, when did our day become back?
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And I'm not even that old. Gosh. There were not that many dark-skinned models like on the runway. Tyra Banks was as dark as it got. Naomi Campbell, but now she was one. She was one, and Tyra Banks had a little hips like to her. She had a little shape to her. And now you see so many exotic women, darker skinned women, actresses, like that's unheard of. So at one moment you got shamed for being dark skinned. They made fun of you. They wouldn't even like cast you in like music videos. And now look at the world. Like dark skin is in, brown skin girl. I mean, some people still have a complex, but that's a conversation for another day. But it's more acceptable because society says it's more acceptable. But growing up as a dark-skinned woman, a dark-skinned little girl, I had very few people to look to in the media. And I thank God for my parents because they made sure that I knew that I was pretty and not just for a dark-skinned girl. Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
For a
dark-skinned girl. So you have to know. You have to come into your own that it's okay to have flaws. It's okay that your teeth bigger than your mouth, It's okay that your eyebrows a little thick, and it's okay that your hair won't grow. Or no, your hair does grow, but if you feel like it won't grow, it's okay. It's okay to wear weaves. It's okay to have natural hair. It's okay to wear makeup. It doesn't mean that you don't value yourself, which a lot of people get it twisted too. It's okay not to wear makeup.
It's an enhancement. We need it. We want it.
It's an enhancement. It's okay if you don't wear makeup. That's okay. But what's for you is for you. But you have to decide that. Yeah, forget everybody else. I know it's easier said than done, but really, like, we had similar backgrounds. We all kind of found our path. So we would want to do what's popular. And I mean, we did sometimes because we had stuff we had no business doing. But I think that part of us, like, bring it back because, God won't be pleased and our parents are going to kill us. So I think knowing that other people were doing it too and they had the same religious background made it okay for me.
So talking now, that's as a teen. So now, is it more that it's more important to have like a relationship, your own relationship, than like the religion? Because I think that puts like pressure on kids, like as a teen.
It sure does, because this relates to now, and I'm going to connect them back. But I remember our church was doing a fast, and my mom was saying, you don't have to fast if you don't want to. You don't do it because, we're all doing it. And I was like, no, because that's what they said, and I'm going to do it. So fast forward, I'm like, oh, you were right. Because the relationship with God is so personal, because everybody's journey is their journey. I face different demons that I swore I'd never face as a child, my aspirations, And now I'm like, well, Lord, you got me. Like, I can't put it into words, but I know. And, he knows his children.
Right.
He knows his children. He knew we were going to be hard-headed.
Yeah.
He knew we were going to make things okay that we know are not okay if we live biblically. And have these experiences that can make us downtrodden, but we keep pressing
Show us
through.
grace.
Yes, all the time. Thank you for your grace and mercy.
I would say 3 things would be investing, how to invest. The other thing would be probably property management. I think that's something that would have been interesting to hear about that in my younger years. And then probably the third one probably would be about traveling. So I really feel that, I know this for a fact, I know that there are a lot of kids, especially I grew up in Baltimore City, inner city, who don't know much beyond what they see on TV, see on the internet, and that's pretty much it. They haven't been anywhere. They've stayed in their east side and west side communities for as long as they've been alive, and so probably have their parents. So the ease of travel is something that I think should be made known to us, especially in Black culture, because the more of us that travel, the more the world gets to see us, the more they get to understand that we're not just some stereotypical type thing. And I'm not just talking about across the traveling, across the world. I'm saying even in the United States, there are places that you can go where they don't see much, many Black people. So traveling, having new experiences, recognizing what the world is like in other places, and then being able to understand how how our stereotypical representations aren't helping us. And these are ways, by traveling, those are ways to break them. It allows us to understand new areas, new communities, new cultures, and then from there, we become better.
The biggest life lesson that you learned after high school, like that you felt like you should have walked out of high school knowing, that would really helped you in your 20s, what would you add?
Entrepreneurship. Oh my goodness. I would have your own. These people, yes, you provide them money, you make money, but when you die, they'll replace you. If you get sick, they only care to the extent that you get better so you can come back and make money. Have your own. Have your own. They're always looking for the next best thing, but have your own. There's nothing like your own something. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in your field. You can open up a restaurant and be a doctor. You can have your own consulting firm. You can teach on the side, but just have something of killing the game.
So, but you went to college.
Yes, NCCU.
You went to college, but you also are doing it, on your own. So talk to that girl. She's 16. She graduates in 2 years. And she's like, somebody's pressuring her to go to college, but she doesn't know what her path or her passion is. So what advice would you give?
I would say really just take a moment, take a step back. Be mindful about what it is that you want. What do you like to do? What makes you happy? And it's okay if it's not the norm. It's okay if it's not what your parents want to do. Still hear them out. But take what you will, leave what's not for you, and then make your own decision. This is okay. You are fully capable. Because I just saw this girl. Let me see. You are fully capable of making your own decisions. You were raised by people that had your intentions, or maybe they didn't have intentions for you. But you're capable of making good decisions. Trust your gut, your instinct.
It's very hard to identify the one thing, but I'll say that the thing that has been the most supportive for me, knowing now that I wish I would have known back in the day, is this idea of only looking forward and not being okay with present. So what I mean is that, in this moment, if you're one of those young people is like, oh, I'm so ready to graduate. I'm so ready to get a job. Oh, I need to lose this weight. Oh, I need to have a boyfriend. Oh, I need to. There's so many things that are future focused to the point where sometimes you can't even appreciate your present. And I think that's so important because for me, I think that if I would have just enjoyed my present, I would have been more, I would have enjoyed my life a lot more. Everything about my life was trying to outrun my circumstances. Everything about my life was, I grew up poor, so I'm going to make money. My mother died when I was young. I had all these things against me. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. Now, granted, I appreciate that I had that attitude because in a way I did overcome a lot. But there was a lot of period of time that I never really enjoyed my progress. I didn't enjoy it because everything was about what's next. And that's what happens again when you experience trauma. There's this kind of uneasiness about being in the present because the present is not safe to you. It's not safe to be here, even just sitting and just having a conversation with someone when you've dealt with trauma and you've dealt with things that, put you in a situation where you feel like your life is in danger, even when it's not, you're always running. And that's tough on your body, that's tough on your mind. And again, there's just so many parts of my life about my childhood that I didn't enjoy. I didn't allow myself to go to prom because I felt like I needed to be somewhere working. I never had like a little high school boyfriend because in my mind it was like, well, all guys are terrible. I didn't enjoy going to football games. I didn't, go to the prep rallies. I didn't do anything because all for me was about how I'm going to make this money, how am I going to get out of my circumstances. Even in my 20s when I started being successful and things of that nature, there was so much of it I didn't even appreciate,
Create your own life path. That's something I have in my room too, in my office, my room. Create your own life path. Everybody's journey is different. There are no right or wrong answers. You can't prevent mistakes. They're going to happen. Embrace them as they come. Learn what you can. Leave what does not benefit you. But it's all a part of creating your journey. And it's okay. It's not going to be perfect. It'll be worth it. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still on my journey. As long as you have breath in your body, you'll still be on your journey. But yeah, find what works for you.
If I just would have been more gentle with myself and just said, you're doing the best that you can. And right now, in this moment, this is where you are. And you can find happiness and joy in this very moment. You can be content with your life, still working towards something else. That it's okay to be content. So that would be the thing. I just, as young people, there's so many things that you feel like you're supposed to be in the future or later on down the line. Just enjoy your now. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy a hug from your friend. Enjoy, sitting on the couch watching Netflix. Enjoy the period that you're studying when you don't want to. Like all of these moments that we have that eventually go away that we never had a chance to appreciate. Even with your family members, I wish I would have had more time with my father. I wish I would have had more time with my mother. I wish I would have had more time with friends who are no longer with me. But everything was so forward thinking. So just enjoy your present. Be grateful for your present. Please be grateful for your present. Even as bad as if it's something that's bad going on or you feel like things could be better, everything is leading to something greater.
One thing that I would say, my takeaway would be if you know someone who you admire and you would like your life to be, not that you want to have your life to be exactly like theirs, but you admire them, listen to them, sit at their feet, glean from them, try to learn as much as you can, because I know when you are a teenager, it's difficult because you're trying to break away from being told what to do and being a so-called a kid into adulthood where you want to be more independent. But it's so important that you listen to those that have gone before you. I know it's not the popular thing, but it's important to listen to those that have gone before you. And if you, again, admire someone, listen to them. Take advice from them. It can help you definitely along your journey.
When you're obsessed about what's happened in the past and what should have, would have, could have, there's this kind of dread and this sadness and this upset that you have about how things couldn't have gone. But then when you're so anxious about what is supposed to be in the future, it's anxious. Oh, when am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Oh, I'm 25. I don't have kids yet. Oh, I'm such and such. I'm not married yet. Oh, such and such. And like, who wants to live like that? Like, and I know in the society, unfortunately, that's how, that equals success. You go into these markers. But I think that you can do both, and you just have to appreciate where you're at. Because if you're grateful for where you are, it makes the journey getting to where you're trying to get more enjoyable, more full of love, more full of just happiness instead of just this race. It's a marathon, if anything. It's not a race.
Did Nipsey say that?
Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, yes, the marathon
marathon
continues. Right.